famous words in motorsports. Please welcome back Warren Sapp.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Great birthday weekend, America. We celebrate it with you. The engines have fired, and we're about to move 400 miles closer to the Winston Cup Championship. It's a long drive, but we have three guys that can take you for the ride better than anybody. Alan Bestwick, Wally Dallenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Bill, thank you. Can't tell you how excited we are to be here at Daytona tonight and to bring you the race for the championship. BP, let's start talking teammates. How are they going to play into tonight's race, and how will tonight's race play into the championship?
Well, never has working together been more important than it is today in super speedway racing. And who better to work with than a teammate? We talked to Kurt Busch about that, and Kurt said, we understand we have Kenseth, our teammate back there. We need to work with him. 5 Roush cars, 30th or back. They need to get together, get around Matt Kenseth, and take him to the front and protect him, because after all, Daytona, Talladega, you can take some serious hits to that point championship lead.
And you're right. And I tell you what, to beat DEI, you're going to have some teamwork. 3 guys can do it. There's 3 teammates that can do it. Childress Racing. But 2 of those guys don't play well together, and that's Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick. So it should be real interesting. I think those guys can do it, but it's going to be fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, it should be. Might be some fireworks there. Let's talk about another set of teammates, the guys on pit road. They might decide who wins this race.
Well, pit track position is so doggone important. It's so hard to pass once you get by that 3rd or 4th position. Back in the pack, you can pass. And what better place to do it than on pit road? It might be, the race may be decided on pit road tonight.
Benny, you are right. And it's real important also how you get into pit lane. You've got to charge into this pit, but you got to be careful not to lock your tires up, because there'll be guys taking only 2 tires. If you lock up that left front tire, you may flat spot it, may cause problems.
Remember that they use the smaller 13.5-gallon fuel cells here at Daytona, so they'll be making more frequent pit stops during tonight's race. The dignitaries are clearing the grid, including Angie Everhart, the co-grand marshal, the last action hero. When we come back, a look at the starting lineup, and the cars will be on the track.
I'd like to welcome all of you to NBC.
At Daytona International Speedway, cars are on the track getting ready for the 45th running of the Pepsi 400. Delighted to be here to bring it to you on NBC. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is proud to sponsor the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier in each NASCAR Winston Cup race. This week, Steve Park picked up his first Daytona Bud Pole. 12 drivers now qualified for next February's Budweiser Shootout. More than $7 million now awarded. It's NASCAR's Pole Award program from Anheuser-Busch. Starting lineup for tonight's Pepsi 400. Alongside Park is Richard Childress' teammate Kevin Harvick on the front row. Row number 2, Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin. Between them, 11 wins at the restrictor plate racetracks. There's the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated dominators. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip in row 3. Could one of them continue the dominant streak tonight?
Finished right on the inside of row 4. His best super speedway starting over a year. And Jamie McMurray finished 3rd last night. Started 30th. In row 5 on the inside, Elliott Sadler finished 3rd at Talladega back in April. And Jeremy Mayfield, Talladega pole winner. Back in row 6, Jimmy Johnson, who led the most laps at Talladega, and Casey Mears on the outside.
Tony Stewart, Bill Elliott back in the 7th row. Stewart, the defending series champion. And while you look at the rest of the starting lineup, we told you it was an all Richard Childress Racing front row. How about the 3rd member of that team, BP?
Robbie Gordon is starting back in the, there we go, 18th position. Robbie Gordon, Benny Parsons up at NBC. You got me?
So I do, Benny. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing okay. What's your biggest concern tonight, Robbie?
What I was just checking right there, Benny, I was checking my brake bias, just making sure that I don't lock up the rear tires getting into the pits. It's probably one of the best places to pass all night long. We've got a pretty good car. Everybody on the singular wires team has been working real hard. That victory, 2 weeks ago at Sonoma has helped build a lot of momentum for the second half of the season.
Robbie, don't forget you can't have too much front brake, because you may slide those front tires and flat spot them making pit stops.
10-4. You know, it's going to be real interesting tonight to see who takes 2 and who takes 4, because with these less gas, the pit stops don't take as long as they used to.
Is your car good enough to win?
I think so. My 2 teammates up there, Steve Park, I want to congratulate him driving the AOL car. And again, Harvick, you know, they're on the front row. We've got the same stuff they got. We just missed a little bit in qualifying, so hopefully we'll get up there to them soon.
Good luck to you.
Bye.
Stacy Compton scratch on the field in the 4 car. Here are those who failed to qualify for the race. The top 2 of those, Petty Enterprises cars. Kyle Petty saying the engine department let him down this week. Kyle starting way back in the field in 42nd spot. Stories from pit road before we go green. Matt, you're first.
Alan, many in the garage feel like Sterling Marlin's a sleeper in the field. You ask Sterling, he says he could be the favorite to knock off the DEI contingent. Same race car he was very fast with here in the 500, except for that controversial yellow line ruling that lost the lap. But they brought the same race car back. They massaged on it all summer. Tony Glover, the team manager, says tonight Sterling Marlin's win count here at Daytona goes from 3 to 4. To Dave Burns.
Bobby Labonte has been one of the hottest racers on the circuit lately, Matt. 7 top 10s in the last 8 races, but here at Daytona, not so good. He hasn't finished in the top 10 one time in the last 6 races, but one time in the last 6 races. So they're not sure exactly what they've got here. Last night they worked on who they could race well with. Hopefully it'll pay off for them tonight. Marty?
Dave, the 4-car Stacy Compton is being held in the garage area currently for an illegal fuel cell. We don't know how many laps they are going to be held there for, but they will be held in the garage area and will not be on the track when the green flag is flown. Meanwhile, the pole sitter Steve Park was a talented race car driver 2 months ago looking for a break, and he got it by getting the pole at California, but the joy was short-lived after a lap 1 crash. On Thursday, another boost of confidence for Park. The pole here for the Pepsi 400. Park needs another injection of confidence, and throughout the garage area, his driver friends are very happy with the fact that he is on the pole, but there is an underlying sense of trepidation, remembering what happened at California. Tonight, Park has a very rare opportunity, a chance to reprove himself to his driver friends that he is indeed a worthy ally on the racetrack and belongs among the front runners in Winston Cup. Alan?
Okay, Marty, there you see Steve Park leading this field around on their final parade and pace lap before we get started. One other pre-race pit road issue, Ricky Craven's car did not roll off initially from pit lane. They had a little windshield issue with his car, but it has since been repaired, and Craven has moved out onto the speedway. Dave, you got more on that?
Alan, I checked with him, and actually Ricky's wearing a new helmet tonight that had the wrong visor on it. It was a smoke visor that you might normally wear in the bright sunlight. He needed a lighter tint on the visor, and that was it.
Okay, so a helmet issue instead of the windshield issue. There you go. They are just letting the 4-car, the Stacy Compton-driven machine, go from the inspection area. So he'll rejoin the end of the field. It was scheduled to start last anyway, but a fuel cell problem in the tech line sent him back, and they just got it through in race-approved condition.
And there's a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit down pit road. My advice would be don't speed trying to catch the field.
That counts now, too, huh?
Yes.
All right, it'll take 160 laps to make up 400 miles tonight here on this 2.5-mile Daytona track. A whopping $5.2 million at stake.
Did you see that pit window? That is doggone important. 40 laps, divide 160 by 40, that's 4 times. If you can make it to 40, you save a pit stop. Maybe a splash and go somewhere along the line. I've talked to some drivers and crew chiefs in the garage area. They felt like this race could be won on fuel mileage tonight.
There's definitely a couple guys looking at it.
These opening laps of any race are always tense, but at a track with the restricted engine package where everyone stays bunched up, are they any more tense for the drivers?
Yeah, I think they are. I think when, this place in Talladega, for sure, when the race starts, it takes a little bit to get the cars up to speed. Like you said, it takes a little bit to get the air pressure up in these tires. But you're always going to have a couple of guys that are going to make some moves. So not only do you want, you're trying to stay focused, you're trying to stay in line and hold your position, you also have to be defensive right at the start, because there's always going to be some guys that flare out.
Steve Park leading the field down. We told his story to you a moment ago. Pace car heads off. We're getting set to start the 45th Pepsi 400 at Daytona. Glad you're with us.
BP, we got guys 3 abreast already.
They're already trying to go up the middle, split cars, try their best to get to the front.
Remember the yellow line on the inside of the back straightaway. That's out of bounds, that yellow line all the way around the track.
These first laps might be the most dangerous, but believe me, they're the easiest to gain some positions.
3 deep.
And it's also probably the next couple laps the best time to be in the middle because this is the best your tires are going to be right here. So you've got more grip than you will a little bit later, so you can run in the middle a little bit easier.
Single file, the race is for third. Jeff Gordon to the inside, Sterling Marlin to the outside, 24 and 40. On board, Kurt Busch. 26th place is where Kurt Busch runs in these opening laps.
Jeff Gordon on board as he looks back. The rear bumper of Gordon. Right behind him is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'd like to keep him back there for the rest of the night. Good luck.
The bottom line last night, the Busch race, it seemed like a lot of guys would run low. That seems to be the fast way right now.
On board with Robbie Gordon just a moment ago, you could see just how close he was to that car directly in front of him.
When it's easy to get frustrated, right where Robbie's at. He just went from the high line down to the center. You can't go anywhere. And that's when you get frustrated, is when you've got a good race car, but you've got no place to go.
And check out Kurt Busch, Benny. He started back in 31st place. Last time at the start-finish line, he was 17th. Made his way halfway through to the front.
Well, he obviously found a way to go.
But he didn't bring his teammate, Matt Kenseth. Kenseth was still back in the 20th position, 26th. Marty, 97 so far, pretty good.
Awesome so far, BP, and that's exactly what they hoped for. Jimmy Finning built a brand new race car for the Daytona race here in July. Didn't like what he had in Daytona in February, didn't like what he had at Talladega, so he built a brand new car for here. This is what they were hoping for, that the car would draft well. So far, so good.
Second place, Steve Park shuffled to the outside. Jeff Gordon is through, and here comes the train.
Oh, man. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And there's just no one to help Steve Park. Sterling Marlin is finally going to come and give him some help on the outside, some drafting help. But after all, it's about 8th position.
Yep, it's a little too late. That inside line is really quick right now.
Park shuffled back to 10th from second in that half a lap. Robbie Gordon trying to work his way through. Matty's up to 13th.
And he was somewhere, Alan, coming down the front stretch, and owner Richard Childress told him not to go. He said, do not get caught up in the middle tonight. Be patient. Work the outside lane. That's what worked for Busch Series star Johnny Sauter in the RCR car last night, but Robbie got caught in the middle like he is right now.
Well, I don't know if he's caught or not, man. He's been making that middle work for him. He's made a lot of positions up in the center, so...
And there he dove to the inside. Maybe he was heeding the advice of his car owner, Richard Childress.
Yeah, he'll go high here and pick up a couple cars right now. He's got a lot of momentum.
Saw Mark Martin that Robbie Gordon moved out from behind. He's working with his Roush teammate Kurt Busch as they slice through traffic. But Matt Kenseth has not been able to stay right with him. Kenseth back in 21st. Busch and Martin in 13th and 15th. Now 13th and 14th as Mark's back under Robbie Gordon again. Bill, Steve Park sliding back.
Sliding back. We're probably pretty pleased at this point. Their goal, I talked to Steve this afternoon. He said, just get through the early laps. We talked about what happened at California. He said that thought never entered his mind. Car push it up the track a little bit, cannot get down to the inside. They want to try and get him down to the inside. But Park told me once he and Harvick got him through the first couple of laps, he, and he thought a lot of other people, might feel a lot better.
That was a close one there.
That was close.
That was close.
A collective intake of air where Benny, Wally, and Allen all jumping out of their seats at once.
Robbie had to try to get up in front of Jamie McMurray. Couldn't get it done. Had to get out of the throttle, and because of that, he's lost a lot of ground.
On for the Mike Wallace Army car, and where is he, Alan?
19th.
19th, started 23rd. Robbie Gordon, he's back in the middle again.
Coming back.
Now he's getting behind his teammate, though.
Yeah, Robbie's got a good race car. If he can get somebody to work with him right now, I think he'll take it to the front.
And Steve Park is Richard Childress' teammate you're looking ahead at. A little bit of glare there off turn 4.
A little bit, but it used to be terrible about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but this is fine.
Ooh, pushing that yellow line.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking on the high side for second place around Jeff Gordon. Ken Schrader trying to go with Jr.
If he can pull this off, that's going to be impressive.
Not going to pull it off.
No, it doesn't look that way. Elliott Sadler in that 38 car just kind of pushed Jeff Gordon by Jr.
Nice run in the early laps for Elliott. Started 9th.
And now Junior's hung on the outside as his drafting teammate or drafting mate, Kenny Schrader, dove to the inside.
Bobby Labonte passed him. Tony Stewart's up there. Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart working nose to tail.
And Junior's going to need Michael. He's looking for Michael in that mirror right now because these guys know that if they're going to beat Earnhardt and Waltrip, they got to separate it.
Michael's back in 10th spot. Ricky Craven trying to get up behind Junior.
182, 183 on Dale Jr., 184.
The car goes in the corner and the springs start collapsing. That's when you start picking up, you start losing some miles per hour.
But not much.
5 miles per hour, you're right, not much.
Orange car you're looking at, Ricky Craven. Finish.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just talking, you look at the brake now. I don't see that light coming on. Now, you won't use the brake because you have to use it to slow the car down. What you're going to do is when you get real tight in the pack, you may have to use that brake, you know, and so you'll see that brake light come on and off when you're tapping the brake if you're in a tight bunch right there.
Never backing off the throttle,
just riding the brake a little bit.
Now there's Michael Waltrip getting alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr. See if Jr. can find a way to squeeze in line behind him.
He wants to, but is Sterling going to allow it?
Oh, that's tight.
Or maybe in front of him.
Here comes. Now, the 31 will jump out and follow that 8 car.
Well, we've seen some teammates working together already.
Yeah, here comes that 31 car. Here comes Robbie Gordon trying to help Junior out and himself.
And himself, right.
Junior's going to get behind Michael right there. All right, so the two guys that have dominated the races here at Daytona over the last couple of years now hooked up nose to tail. We'll see if they can make any progress. It's Independence Weekend, NASCAR on NBC.
Let freedom ring. Let the white dove sing.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Clear, all clear.
Independence Day.
NBC's coverage of the Pepsi 400 is brought to you by Pepsi-Cola. Experience the joy of Pepsi. By Pontiac, fuel for the soul. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, Lowe's improving home improvement. And by new Berry Burst Cheerios.
Kevin Harvick is the leader of the Pepsi 400, but it's the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated duo that is on the move.
And they've gone to the outside trying to get by Tony Stewart. Couldn't do it on the inside. Handy on the outside. They have some help. Oh, the 42 car goes up the block. Jamin McMurray. That's not McMurray. Who is that?
That's Jeff Gordon.
Ah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And Elliott Sadler in the 38. All the different. Look at this. Michael Waltrip 3 deep to the outside. Now pulls it back in behind Elliott Sadler. Bill, you got something for us from Earnhardt Jr.'s pit?
Well, Alan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got trapped back in traffic and thought he was going to hook up with the 32 of Ricky Craven, but Craven couldn't hang on. So in that traffic, Jr. was like a hunting dog looking for the 15 of Michael Waltrip, and they found it, and now they are marching their way toward the front. This is the combination to beat right now. It is 41 cars
cars out there against those two. Look at the block on Michael there as he dives to the inside. Snyder.
One of the goals for most of the teams was to keep those two teams apart. Obviously, they were looking for each other. Michael Waltrip has said nothing on the radio, but he told me this afternoon that the scenario he liked was Junior pushing him. He said, by myself, I can't pass Junior, but I think by ourselves, he could pass me if he wanted to.
Matt, Marty, another set of teammates that were looking for each other. The Gibbs guys, Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte. Tony kept moving around in front of Junior and Michael, trying to get the 18 of Labonte up to him. Now they've hooked up. Tony says, let's just stay in line and ride this all the way to the front.
They were separated by Michael Waltrip when he passed Bobby Labonte and then Tony Stewart a little while ago. Now Robbie Gordon is between Stewart and Bobby Labonte. That's some pretty serious blocking going on there a minute ago, trying to keep Earnhardt Jr. and Waltrip back, huh?
Yeah, and that's what these guys have to do. I think they're tired of it, and they got to keep those guys separate. And obviously on their side of it, Michael and Dale know if those two guys get together, they're going to go to the front and probably stay there.
And they're going, right now it's a battle for the third position between Michael Waltrip and Elliott Sadler in the 38. And they're doing it the hard way. They're going on the outside.
From Michael Waltrip's car. You know, in the last 10 races run using the carburetor restrictor plates here at Daytona and at Talladega, 10 races between Michael Waltrip and Dale Jr., they've won 8 of them. Junior 5, Waltrip 3.
So what are you saying? They're pretty good on these tracks?
I'm saying that if I were calling a favorite, it'd be one of those two cars.
Jimmy Johnson currently in second spot, looks back. Here comes Michael.
You know, here's the funny thing. We've been talking about these guys all thinking in their minds they needed to do what they could do to keep the 15 and the 8 back. 15 and the 8 are moving. Look at the guys lined up in that outside lane behind him now. Okay, if you're going to get to the front, we're going to hitch on to that.
Oh, sure. I mean, you're going to be selfish on this deal. If you think you're going to pull up 5 or 6 positions by getting on their bumper, they're going to do it.
So Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson continue to try and hold off Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. 18 of 160 laps are done. Just completed 50 miles of the Pepsi 400. Here's our Stacker 2 track fact. Changing this race to a night race. 1998 really has made a difference. It's much more enjoyable for the fans, much more comfortable for them to be in the grandstands.
I'll tell you what, it was miserable walking through the garage here today because it was so hot here at the Speedway, and it used to be the same way when they raced in the afternoon. But the lights, you're right, it's so comfortable here now.
A lot more relief from inside those race cars, too. A lot cooler than race cars at night.
Kevin Harvick is the race leader. Jimmy Johnson following him, and Elliott Sadler running third. Michael Waltrip and Jeff Gordon round out the top 5. You know, we've used the word drafting a lot so far today. It has nothing to do with picking players for a ball team. As we go inside our Home Depot virtual garage, it's all about air.
Here we go. We're going to try to show you what it's all about. Here's one car going through the air. You can see the air coming over the back of the car. Kind of drops down over the spoiler. When you get another car come up behind you, that air goes over both cars. It takes the air off the rear spoiler of the front car, and it punches a big hole, and you got more momentum. You look at the guy on the inside, he's pushing all the air, where those other two cars are not pushing as much, so they're going to draft on by. You get 8 or 9 of those guys in a line, you can imagine how it busts the air.
Change of position in that lead group. Tony Stewart just shuffled his way around Jeff Gordon and picked up the 5th position. As you look at Kevin Harvick, who's led every lap so far. And NBCSports.com will give you previews and predictions on each Winston Cup race from old BP. And I'll throw in a column here and there about those who are streaking and struggling, opinions on different issues in the sport. NBCSports.com is where you'll find it.
All right, Michael going back to the top of the racetrack, trying to pick up Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s teammate in that red 8 car.
And picking up some help from Stewart momentarily. Which lane's it going to be? Now Michael moves to the inside in front of Elliott Sadler.
Tell you what, those guys are doing a good job tonight keeping Michael and Junior separated.
While we're watching this for the lead, couple of updates. Rusty Wallace started 42nd. He's up to 15th. Jeff Burton started in 36th position, and he's made his way up to the 11th spot. Matt Kenseth started 37th. He's up to 14th. And Kurt Busch, 31st to 8th. Look at the Roush teammates.
They are worked together, and they're going towards the front. Dave, what's going on with Jimmy Johnson?
Well, BP, I just checked with his crew chief, Chad Knaus, and asked him if he was concerned that Jeff wasn't running with Jimmy right now. And he said, no, not at this point. He's running up front where we need him to be. He's just getting a little bit tight off of turn 2 at this point. Marty?
Dave Elliott Sadler's car working very well right now. We've talked about how pit strategy could play a big role in tonight's race. And when it comes to that, that is going to be to the detriment of Robert Gates Racing. The 38 and the 88 cannot go far on fuel. The most they can go is 36 laps, Bill.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is tight. That's why he's having some trouble in this traffic. He's also driving with blisters on his hands. Even though he wore gloves in the Busch race last night, he still has blisters and calluses on his hand from that race. Tony Eury Jr. said that's really not a problem, but what might be, Jr. just called it on the radio, says, I think I have something on the grill that could lead to an overheating problem.
And we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Now, the first round of pit stops will be coming up somewhere around lap 35. Remember the 13.5-gallon fuel cells used here at Daytona. So let's take a break here. We'll come back, get set up for those ever-important visits to pit road. Kevin Harvick leads the Pepsi 400. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. The massive Daytona International Speedway. Tonight's site of the Pepsi 400. Its 45th running. Better than 160,000 on hand watching the drivers of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Our Wendy's race menu, it's on to the Windy City next weekend, Sunday, 2:30 Eastern Time here on NBC. We continue to follow the race for the championship in Loudon, New Hampshire, Pocono, Pennsylvania, and Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400. Was that you I heard going, oh, oh, oh?
Yeah. It was me going, oh, Larry Fort slid through his pit there a little bit.
Coming up on green flag pit stops shortly. Kevin Harvick, the race leader. Jimmy Johnson is second, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip and Tony Stewart have really had kind of a little tussle going for third, fourth, and fifth.
And Michael Waltrip is going inside, outside, and so is Junior. They never can get hooked up right. Wally, what were you talking about a while ago?
Just so you know, when I say, oh, we'll have it. And here it is. See, lock them tires up. What I was talking about earlier, too, in the
nice catch.
Beginning of the show, yeah. But that cost a lot of time.
A one hopper to the front tire carrier. Good that we can laugh about it. Coming up to put a lap on the Stacy Compton car, the 4 machine, who's really been off the pace basically since the start of the race. You have a tech inspection problem, and you're thrashing around in the last minutes before the green just to get the car into the race. It's easy to perhaps have not everything be perfectly aligned like it should be.
Especially when you get caught
with a,
doing something
with a fuel cell. Yeah, okay.
Take a little bit longer to get things done.
Yeah. What are we going to see? 2 tires, 4 tires? What do you think?
I think we're going to see 2.
My guess is 2.
On most of the leaders. All right, we'll see here in just a couple laps.
And BP was talking about earlier how this is real important right here. These pit stops are real important. It's important if they come in under the green, this thing stays green. You're going to see a lot of guys gaining and losing a lot of time getting to pit lane.
If you watch the NASCAR Busch Series last night, you saw cars running 50, 60 laps on fuel. Those cars had a 22-gallon fuel cell. The gas tanks in these cars tonight are about 13 gallons, give or take a half gallon. And so therefore, that's why these cars can only run about 35, 40 laps.
And the reason for that was to break up the big packs all the time.
Make them pit more often to try to break the packs up. Right.
Rusty Wallace really on the charge in the early laps. He started this race in 38th spot. Dave, he's in 8th place.
Well, and he's been a little bit tight off of turn number 2. They're going to make an air pressure and wedge adjustment that when he comes in. But other than that, no complaints right now. Matt?
Dave, Kevin Harvick never said a word on the radio until lap 27 when he said his car was free. His team is talking about about what adjustments to make on their stop. Now, that's the big question. When do they pit? They would like to pit on lap 38, maybe even stretch it to 39. The question, will they get any takers? They may have to back it up. May have to back it up to lap 37, Bill.
Jeff Gordon will be in next time. He'll pit next time. Jeremy Mayfield on pit road. Got 2 right side tires. He's on his way. Robbie Loomis told me this morning they'd be one of the first cars in. Expected to be in on lap 34. Marty.
The DEI cars will pit on lap 37. Bill, Michael Waltrip says he's a little bit tight, but he wants to leave the chassis alone. Very happy with it. Very frustrated they cannot hook up together and get to the front.
Here comes another group of the leaders to pit road.
Here's what we're talking about, locking those tires up coming to pit lane. That's going to cost these guys a lot.
A lot of them boiling the tires. Rusty Wallace is in. Jeff Gordon's in. Elliott Sadler, Ricky Craven. Bill?
Well, this is the big pack right here. Jeff Gordon on pit road. His car's been a little tight. No chassis adjustment. Just enough fuel to fill that small cell. They're going to take 4 tires on this stop. Marty.
Kurt Busch speeds off pit road. Pretty happy with his race car. A little bit tight. Half a pound into the right rear, Bill. Trying to loosen him up, Dave.
Rusty Wallace now getting that wedge adjustment. 4 tires for him. Right in front of him, Ryan Newman pits as well. He also gets a chassis adjustment and 4 tires. Rusty will lead out. His teammate Ryan Newman will have to follow behind.
Boy, it's going to be interesting to see some of these guys like Johnny Benson in the 10 car. He was really boiling the smoke off those tires getting to pit road. They only changed 2. We'll see if those left side tires are in decent enough shape to keep going. Jimmy Johnson's in. Kyle Petty, Jimmy Spencer, Todd Bodine. Dave?
Well, Jimmy Johnson had been radioed in by Chad Knaus. He's doing a great job just keeping going. The car was just a little bit tight for Jimmy, but he was still staying up there in the front. So they're going to make a 4-tire change following suit with everybody else they were talking about too. But now that everyone else has taken 4, they're going to do the same. Crew coming around to the left side. Windshield is clean. He is out of here.
Todd Bodine coming down pit road, going off pit road with Jimmy Johnson. Obviously a 2-tire stop versus the 4. So, all right, here we come.
Yep.
The DEI cars of Waltrip and Junior coming in together.
Remember, we talked about them smoking those front tires when they came in last night's NASCAR Busch Series race. That was a pretty smooth stop, Marty.
And they warned Michael Waltrip about that. Take care of the tires. Do not flat spot them coming to pit road. This will be a 2-tire stop for the 15 team. A little bit tight. No adjustments, Bill.
Chassis adjustment on the 8, 2 right side tires. They warned Junior not to slide the tires. He's on his way.
And the 18 Jack Manor tire carrier had to jump out of the way. Matt.
VP, a 4-tire change on Sterling Marlin's Dodge. A little bit of trouble on the left front. The fuel cell's packed full. Tony Stewart's in. A slow stop for Stewart. The car has stalled. They're trying to get it refired. They're pushing the car down pit road. The car still has not fired. Tony Stewart. Wow. Finally pulls away as Kevin Harvick is on his way in with his teammate. The 29 is in. They wanted to try to pit with the 8 and 15. Harvick in. This should be a 2-tire change. Todd Barrier called for a 2-tire change. You can hear him gutting the engine, packing the fuel cell full of fuel. To Bill.
Pole sitter Steve Park on pit road. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires. His car's been tight. He's got fuel. He's on his way to Burns.
Mark Martin trying to make up some time. He will take on only 2 tires and pack the fuel cell full.
The race lead belongs to Ward Burton for the moment. He has not yet stopped, so he's out front.
And Tony Stewart evidently ran out of fuel. They were putting gasoline in their carburetor. Davis, that one empty, run out of fuel.
Benny, he ran out of fuel making his way to pit road. That's why you saw them trying to fire the engine in his pit stall.
Wow. All right, here comes Ward Burton onto pit road. Tony Stewart's going to be about a half a lap behind the pack. 22 coasting in. 22's coasting in. He's out of fuel.
And that's just the most recent of his problems. He's got an overheating problem. 270 degrees last time we heard. Around to the right side. Now they got it refired. Now it shuts off again. They're going to have to push it. He's got it. He's on his way. Tough day for Ward, and it's early.
See, I'm not sure when Tony ran out of fuel, but with Ward running out of fuel coming into the pit, they had time to get the thing fired up right away. Where Tony's, it didn't look like they even
He's out up in turn 3.
It seems like they took a long time to try to get it.
I looked up and I saw him off the pace in turn 3. Let me rephrase that. Matt?
This morning when I talked to Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief, and Dave Rogers, the engineer, they had 2 different calculations from the final practice session. One, which was very good, and one, which wasn't. They didn't know which one to believe. They were looking to maybe go in between, but it bit them.
So Tony Stewart is now back in 41st place. Kevin Harvick is the leader, but look who's changed positions on the pit stops.
Junior and Michael Waltrip, second and third, the 2 tire stop. That's what they did all during the Daytona 500. That's why it was such a shock to me when those guys started pitting and changing 4 tires.
Yeah, me too, BP. I was surprised about that. Obviously, Robbie took 4 tires because he's right up there behind Michael Waltrip right now. Matt Kenseth.
And Michael and Junior both took 2 tires. Junior's crew got him out ahead of Michael's.
Right.
Second place, chasing Kevin Harvick in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. Just over 100 miles into the 45th running of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona, and just through the first set of pit stops, Kevin Harvick's team held serve, got him out ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr., but the advantage that Harvick had, which was over 2 seconds just after the pit stops, is evaporated and maybe gone completely.
Taking a look, BP. He's got a lot of help up there, too.
Man, he has got them lined up. And Robbie Gordon, is he going to go on the outside or inside?
Well, that's what we talked about at the beginning. These guys got to work together.
Can't just make up his mind.
Now Michael Waltrip out from behind Junior.
Now Robbie Gordon's going to dive on the outside and go with Junior, along with Matt Kenseth.
He's going to be inside.
Okay, Junior's teammates helping Gordon's teammates.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Richard Childress is probably talking to Spotter Roger right now saying, man, go with the 29.
You know, funny dynamic between Michael and Junior. And to me, I've seen this play out already tonight. They know they've got to be in front of the other guy. They can be dedicated to pushing him to the finish all they want, but their sort of rule between them is the one that's in front is the one that's going to go, and they are fighting hard to be in front of the other guy.
There's Richard Childress right there, ready to make the call if he hasn't. Here comes the call.
We talked with Richard on our coverage throughout the weekend about the situation between Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick, and he said, I went to Montana. I let them work it out.
Said he went fishing.
I don't know if that worked or not.
All right, let's check out our singular race talk poll tonight. Has to do with the race for the championship. Who will overtake Matt Kenseth for the Winston Cup title? Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby the Body, or no one? There are the instructions on how to enter your vote. We'll give you the results a little bit later on in our coverage of this Pepsi 400. Singular car with Robbie Gordon settling in line now in 6th position. Matt Kenseth, NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader in that black number 17, started this race in 37th. He's up to 5th.
Well, we saw in the Busch race last night, there's a lot of cars sliding around. And some of these guys talked about they wouldn't have a good car for qualifying. They wanted a car that stuck well because the track was going to be slick. Matt Kenseth was one of those guys.
He chose to bring a car here that would be a little bit slow qualifying, but would handle well, and it looks like it's working perfectly for him. His strategy, I mean.
All right, just to go back and update, the first driver that got 4 tires on the pit stops is Elliott Sadler, running in 11th now. All the top 10 got just 2 tires on their stops. Scoring serial on Matt Kenseth, a nice steady march to the front. Jimmy Johnson under Earnhardt Jr.
They're not very content staying single file up there, are they?
They sure are.
Which is good.
I don't know that Junior's car is not running warm. We heard a report earlier that he might have some water temperature problems. That might be one reason that he's diving out to the outside of the corners to try to get a little air through the grill of that car to cool it down.
Watch that yellow line with the block. Waltrip goes way off the top of the track. Johnson to block, Earnhardt Jr. to follow. This is great, isn't it? Good stuff. He's got the fender in there. It's for second place.
Oh, Jimmy, don't turn left now.
He wanted to.
Possible. Yeah, he really wanted to.
Harvick to block. You know, after the pit stops, the field had really spread out. Look how the draft has pulled them all back together. Everybody in the back there getting lined up single file. They've closed right up on these front runners. Matt Kenseth on Jimmy Johnson. Fourth place.
And guess who's back in town? Robbie Gordon. He will have passed more cars when this night is over than anybody else on the racetrack.
Going both directions.
That's Kurt Busch right behind Robbie Gordon in 97.
Jimmy Johnson was running second just a couple of laps ago. Not anymore.
So many guys, the teams tonight, because of the specialness of this night race at Daytona, bring out the different paint jobs. Yes, that is a different look to Kurt Busch's car than you normally see. Bill, how about Earnhardt Jr.?
Just want to update that paper on the grill thing. No big issue. Not there anymore. No temperature problems. So that's not an issue with the 8-car, BP.
Okay, good.
Been monitoring Robbie Gordon's radio and his communication back and forth with spotter and pit crew. Heard this a minute ago.
Working bottom when it opens up like you did a while ago. You'd have been second there. Be smart, Robbie. Use your head. Thanks, buddy.
Simple. Just see what we can work them at, you know?
Voice of Richard Childress, the owner. I think it's a dinner.
And who was first at the time when he said that?
Kevin Harvick?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The call was made.
The call was made. I knew he'd make it.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's some serious blocking going on now. Michael Waltrip talked about this at the end of the NASCAR Busch Series race last night. He said when you're running second, it's almost harder than leading because you're trying to find a way to pass the leader, but any move you make, you've got to keep the other guy from filling the hole underneath you.
You're looking in the mirror as much as you're looking out the front windshield.
52 of 160 laps are complete. Kevin Harvick has led almost all of them so far. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. New leader at the Pepsi 400 Daytona, Michael Waltrip just made a breathtaking move on Kevin Harvick, but Harvick didn't want to give it up easily.
He fought hard, but not much he could do about it because Michael had that run, and Jimmy Johnson came along with Michael to take over second. Junior back in fourth.
Watch this as they come from the start-finish line and head down towards turn number 1.
Michael gets a pretty good run on Kevin. He's got Dale behind him. Harvick moves up the track, and boy, Michael just cut right underneath that bumper, but he had the momentum. Now you watch here, Harvick tries to keep him pinned down a little bit, but it wasn't enough.
So Waltrip becoming just the third different driver to lead this race tonight. Kevin Harvick has led 53 of the 56 laps so far. Let's take a look at our Aflac trivia question, shall we?
Okay.
Test your knowledge. Who competed in the most races before his first NASCAR Winston Cup win?
Well, I know the answer. Do you know why?
I know the answer, too.
Okay, I'll tell you.
They'll show him.
Michael Waltrip. He won on his 463rd race.
Daytona 500 2001. Since then, he's won the Pepsi 400 here, 2002, and the 2003 Daytona 500. Michael Waltrip tonight trying to become only the second man in this Speedway's 45-year history to win 3 straight races here. Cale Yarborough did it with this race in 1967, the Daytona 500 in 68, and again the 400 in 68. Not been done before, not been done since.
Matt Kenseth, 17 car. Robbie Gordon, the 31 car. Kenseth, the 17 car, the Winston Cup championship leader.
Got his teammate on his bumper, Mark Martin.
Kenseth started 37th. Mark Martin started 33rd. They're running 6th and 7th right now. Michael Waltrip is out in front of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Well, welcome back to Daytona on a spectacular night. The Pepsi 400 has been a part of Racing Americana for 45 years, and it just continues to grow and get bigger and bigger. Michael Waltrip going for his third straight win at this track out front. We've been waiting since Homestead in November to do this, so it's time to take you through the field, and we'll start with the 15 car. Let's go down pit road and get that report from Marty Snyder.
Michael Waltrip is glad to finally be out front, Bill. He struggled to get to the front and hasn't had his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. pushing him there all night long. We're not saying much about the car right now, pitting on lap 79, Dave.
Jimmy Johnson's crew gave him 4 tires and made an adjustment to fix a little bit tight condition when he was in last time. Now, even though he's running second, the car is skatey. We got a spin on the track with Dave Blaney.
Off turn 2. Looks to be a one-car incident, and the caution flag is out for the first time in the race. Dave Blaney was running in 26th place at the time of his spin.
And it doesn't look like there's any damage to the car.
If he stays out of the grass, he's got a left front flap. That probably happened after he had the tires locked up going 180.
And that pavement that Blaney spun down into was a safety feature added here at the Speedway several years back. Before a spin like that, he'd have been in the grass and probably upside down.
Yep, you're right, because that pavement, at least the car stays flat when you're spinning on the pavement, but when you get in that grass and you get sideways on the grass, it usually hooks the wheels and you start rolling.
When the car starts bouncing up and down, he gets air underneath it and away he goes. Let's see if we can see what happened to Blaney as he came off turn 2.
Way up there high, you can see him way up high. Got a little help, it looks like.
Yes, he did. A little nudge in the left rear from...
Tell who that was. Roof flaps are up, though. That kept that car down on the ground.
And there's the pavement we were talking about.
Jack's brake.
Guilty.
And turn 2 is a place where you find yourself pushing really hard, especially this time of the race. And if you're down on the bottom, the car will quit turning coming out there when you're close to another car. So Jack may have lost the air off in front of his car, which sent him up the racetrack into the left rear corner of Dave Blaney's car.
That happened in the Nascar Busch Series race back in February. It happened a couple of times.
Now Dave trying to lift that car back around with flat tires and not do any further damage. Meantime, the pressure's all on the pit crews again. Michael Waltrip worked really hard to get the lead. Let's see if his team can hold the lead on this set of caution flag pit stops. Marty.
Alan Michael Waltrip bringing his car down pit road here. Daytona 4,000 in second gear. That's a pit road speed to him. The car is in. It'll be a 4-tire stop this time. No changes, Matt.
The right side tires for Kevin Harvick on the first stop. A 4-tire change this time. No adjustments as the 29 car is very good, Dave.
4-tire change for Jimmy Johnson as well. He needs an air pressure adjustment in the right front and also in the right rear. Team going to work on the left side now to complete the process. Full of fuel, Bill.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on pit road. His car was tight. 1 round up on the track bar. 4 tires and fuel. Jeff Gordon also got a chassis adjustment. He said the car is just a little tight. We have to get some better track position. 4 tires, fuel, and a chassis adjustment for Jeff Gordon.
Earnhardt Jr. got out ahead of Michael Waltrip, but a couple of people got out ahead of them. We'll reset the running order for you when we come back to Daytona. Watching NASCAR on NBC. Back at Daytona International Speedway under the first caution of the Pepsi 400 after Dave Blaney got tagged by Jack Sprague and spun inside off of turn 2. After the pit stops, Elliott Sadler got off pit road first. The championship leader, Matt Kenseth, he's way in the back of the pack.
Had a little bit of a problem as Kenseth comes down pit road, trying to make up all the time he could on pit road. The brakes did not.
Diving in here, get stopped, get stopped, get stopped.
Get it stopped, get it stopped.
Back him up, easy, back him up.
Watch this, a camera on top of the roof.
And probably the front tires locked up, didn't they, BP?
Yeah,
or?
looks like it.
Yep.
And right through his pit he went. Kenseth had worked his way up to the top 5. He's now back in 28th position. Marty?
And here's the view from Matt Kenseth's overhead camera. I will press the pause button here. Oh, we'll press it again. There you go. Okay, now they're going to do a remote control. There we go. And he barely missed his guys just by inches. You can see the orchestration here as Matt comes sliding through the pits. Look at those guys. They just jumped out of the way. That is coordination, I guess is what you call it. Matt came on the radio, apologized to his guys, said, I'm trying to get everything I can get. I came in there too hot. That was completely my fault, guys.
So Matt Kenseth now back to 27th position. Bill?
And just to update Bobby Labonte's situation, just in front of Matt Kenseth out there on the racetrack for the second time, he again got blocked in on pit road. That cost him time. Also, Mark Armstrong, the tire changer, got caught up in the wheel well when Bobby took off, but he's okay. He's going to hang in there and continue changing tires. Matt, how about an update on the 40?
Sterling Marlin made a second stop, damaged the left front fender. The team used a hammer and beat it out, sent Sterling out so he wouldn't lose a lap, came back in, did some more repair work. He should be okay, but remember, this is restrictor plate racing. The bodies, the fabricators, they make these like it's an art form, and it's artwork, and their artwork was damaged a little bit, but Sterling should be okay.
Getting set for the restart now. Elliott Sadler is the leader. We're following up. Believe he got 2 tires on his stop. We'll confirm that for you in a minute. Kevin Harvick is second. Jimmy Johnson third. Followed by Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip.
There you see is the restart line. The white line.
They just waved off the restart, BP. Just throw that in there. Let's take a break. We'll set the restart up when we come back. How about that? Elliott Sadler's now the leader of the Pepsi 400. Just back under green in the Pepsi 400. Elliott Sadler, the leader, did in fact just get 2 tires on his stop. The people chasing him got 4. And here come Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick.
And look at Harvick just drive to the outside, try to drive to the outside on Jimmy Johnson. Didn't quite work.
No help. No help, BP. He doesn't have anybody with him yet.
Sadler, Johnson, Harvick, top 3. Then Earnhardt Jr., Waltrip, Martin, Jeff Burton, Terry Labonte, Kurt Busch, and Kenny Wallace. Those the top 10. Running order really jumbled up by the different choices of tire strategy on this set of stops. Bill?
Well, on the Discover Card countdown to green, we talked about how popular Dale Jr. has become not only to race fans, but to corporate America as well. Well, during that caution, he apparently didn't feel that way, making some moves out on the racetrack with Michael trying to get back to the front. But he said he felt like a one-man band, that he didn't have a friend within 100 miles. He's about to find some in a minute.
Jimmy Johnson to the lead. Earnhardt Jr. and Harvick race for second. Michael Waltrip right behind, which lane will he pick? He's trying to get behind Jr.
Well, got it.
And here comes Mark Martin. You know, Mark very openly discusses that he just doesn't care for this kind of racing, the restrictor plate brand. But his record here shows that he has success. Last 3 finishes at Daytona, 6th, 5th, 5th.
And Mark's one of the smoothest guys on any kind of a racetrack. He's also one of those guys that you love to draft with because you know he's not going to ever do anything stupid. So if you just be patient and you put your front bumper on his rear bumper, he usually finds the front.
Junior to the outside of Harvick for second.
And Michael is going to go with him.
That was close.
Robbie Gordon and Mark Martin. And for the lead.
Junior has Johnson cleared, but is he going to stay out there and wait for Michael, or is he going to go down the inside?
I think he's going to be in the middle.
I think he's going to, he's going to take the middle.
He's trying to wait. Harvick's going to get in behind Michael. Jimmy, got bad news for you.
See ya.
Yeah. Robbie Gordon, Kurt Busch.
Uh-oh.
Watch that yellow line.
That was close. That was real close.
Nice.
Johnson goes up the racetrack right almost into Mark Martin. And here's Harvick trying to go on the outside of Michael.
Oh, whoa, who's that shot out of traffic? Down below the line, Steve Park and Jimmy Johnson. Kurt Busch that they confused his car for Steve Park. They kind of look alike this weekend.
I think that was from back there.
That was on the backstretch.
Yeah. Thank you. Still fighting it out for second.
I tell you, that 29 Goodrich car is a very good race car because he almost took over second spot by himself.
Yeah, I agree, BP. And that there again, I think if 31 ever gets with Kevin, those guys will be, and there you go. Robbie is now behind the 29 car. So we'll see if those guys stick together and make it work.
All right, let's go back and look at some of this wildness a moment ago off turn 4.
Robbie went up the racetrack.
Oh, my goodness. Did you see? Oh, my goodness. 3 or 4 cars completely sideways.
Trouble off turn 2. Is this the big wreck?
There it is.
Robbie Gordon, Steve Park.
See Ricky Craven.
Is that Kurt Busch?
Kurt Busch sitting sideways across the track through the smoke. I'll tell you what, could have been a lot more cars involved. And the field comes back to the caution flag. The race slowed for a second time.
Well, it was right there around 6th, 7th spot. No, Elliott was in 4th.
Tough break for Steve Park. He really needed a good run tonight.
They have.
Yeah, that was Mike Wallace involved. There's Matt Kenseth, the championship leader. He made it through. Remember all the track position he lost last time put him right in the danger zone for getting caught up in something like that.
Yeah. Dodged the bullet.
Got to be lucky to win one of those championships.
Yes, you do.
I'll tell you. Wow. Look at the damage in front of Robbie's car. Front, back, side. Not everything but the roof.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Uh-oh, we got somebody spinning down there.
Steve,
right in front of Robbie. Is that Steve? No.
That's Kurt
Busch. And look at that. I mean, these guys can't even see where they're going.
Oh, that's a hard shot.
Guys got caught up in that deal, and a lot of it just, there's nowhere to go.
Look at Terry Labonte come through. Right through the smoke.
Biffle goes between 2 cars. Poor Steve Park. Car just spin up direct in front of him.
What is that? He just lost it.
Boy.
And he didn't have a car close enough to really get the air off the spoiler, so it wasn't that.
I'll be really interested to hear from Kurt when he comes back from the medical center, because that was unusual.
And Robbie Gordon, no place to go. He's got his load as best he can, but...
And he gets hit.
Gets hit from Mike Wallace from behind.
Now, we saw a little bit of this last night in the Busch race. We had some guys that cut their tires, and tires went down, and we saw some spin-outs like that. But fortunately, last night, they didn't collect 10 or 12 cars. All those tires all look up.
We'll go on board with the singular car. Robbie Gordon. Listen one.
Clear low. Clear low. Clear low. Inside out. I left in my ass right here.
Yes, you did.
That was Tim Overby, the spotter for Robbie Gordon.
And it's easy, you know. You say, why didn't you go low? Well, you get down on that apron like that, you're going to tear your car up.
At 180-something miles an hour, you can't just hang that left turn necessarily.
Right, so he figured he'd stay there, and hopefully that car would disappear in front of him. What's going on down there, Marty? Can they tell us what happened with the 97 car?
Wally Kurt came on the radio right after the spin finished happening and said the right rear went down on me. I had no control of the race car. The right rear tire is sitting in the back of Kurt Busch's pits. It is completely destroyed beyond recognition, so we'll never be able to know if there was a cut or what happened, but Kurt said it was the right rear just went down on him and he lost control of the car.
Let's
take a ride on board through this with Kurt Busch.
Well, let's see if we can. Boy, when they go that fast, when they spin that fast, normally it is a tire going down. What do you think, BP? Yeah. That car went around pretty quick.
All right, guys. Got a big mess over here.
See Kurt's back on the track as he's been through pit road once already, but obviously Jimmy Fennig and the crew got some more work to do before they can get him.
Probably get down on that apron and move the fender on top of the tire.
Let's go back and check out that replay one more time and start a little earlier. See if we can hear a tire going down.
Yeah. You can hear the tire going flat.
Oh, that's ugly sound.
Thank goodness for replays, huh?
So got 7 cars involved in this. Robbie Gordon, Kurt Busch, Steve Park, Ricky Craven, Joe Nemechek took some damage, as did Jamie McMurray and Mike Wallace. There you go. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been 20 of them in that smoking heap just the same. Dale Earnhardt Jr. did not pit. He and Michael Waltrip are the top 2 in the Pepsi 400. That's why we're under caution. We'll be right back. At Daytona International Speedway, the Pepsi 400 under caution for a second time for a 7-car wreck off turn 2. This is On Board with Jimmy Johnson.
3 wide, bud. 3 wide. Everybody's going to be one side when you get around here. 2 wide. 1 oh, speed in front of you. Go low, buddy. Go low. Come on. Oh, yes. You're the man, buddy. Yeah. That is awesome, Jimmy. Caution is out. Come on, baby.
Chris Osborne, a spotter. What a great job he did.
And I'll tell you what, all that pavement down there you're talking about earlier, Alan, I think there would have been a lot more cars in that wreck if it was grass. Watch all these guys drive way down on all that asphalt. You couldn't have done that if that was grass.
I mean, Jimmy Spencer just drove out of the picture going down on that pavement.
Dave Burns.
Well, Al, the only concern then for Jimmy Johnson, well, actually there were 2 concerns. One is he drove down on the apron, as you saw, dramatically, and he wondered if he ruined the front end of the car. They looked at it with binoculars from up above. They reasoned no, and so they stayed on the track. He also downshifted and thought he might have over-revved it, but they believed that the limiting chip would have caught that and kept the car from over-revving.
Hey, old SpongeBob's been getting some rides the last couple of days.
Let's check our NASCAR Busch Series update. They ran 250 miles here at Daytona last night. Dale Earnhardt Jr. led every one of them en route to the victory. Dominating performance. Championship standings are thrilling. 2 points, Scott Riggs to David Green, 84 to 5th place. Busch Series racing at Chicagoland Speedway Saturday, NBC 2:30 Eastern. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series ran at Kansas City this afternoon. Congratulations to John Wood. Next generation of the famed Wood Brothers team, his first series win, the Roush Fords sweeping the top 2 spots. Their championship race, just as great.
Travis Quapple takes over 6 points over the previous leader, Brendan Gaughan.
Earlier we gave you our singular race talk poll question. Your votes have been tabulated. Who will overtake Matt Kenseth in the championship race? Seems like folks are figuring on Dale Jr.
About 53%.
How about Dale Jr., Bill?
Well, stayed out there, as you mentioned, Alan, and the reason is they simply are not in their fuel window. They needed 4 more laps to get there. The fuel they have in that tank will get them to about lap 108. We'll see what happens between now and then.
All right, coming to the restart. There's our virtual restart line. The restart rule for Big White Block is that the leader should restart the race in the vicinity of that area of the racetrack.
And any leader who doesn't so would be subject to be black flag by NASCAR.
While they get up to speed, let's update you on a couple things. Several of the front runners did not pit under this caution. You heard Bill reporting on Dale Jr., Michael Waltrip, Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin did not pit under the caution flag. Several did, including Jeff Burton. He's in 9th place. He heads the guys who stopped. That's where they'll take this restart. A number of cars came in and topped off the fuel on the 1-to-go signal. Terry Labonte, Greg Biffle, Ricky Rudd, Ward Burton, Ken Schrader, Kyle Petty. Kurt Busch has been in several times, as you can expect, for repairs. So that's the pit strategy situation.
Matt, what's going on with the 29 car?
Benny, a lot of debate under that caution for Kevin Harvick. They were doing the math. They needed one more lap under the caution, and they would have been able to make it on one more stop. Kevin wanted to chance it. Todd Berry said, Kevin, a lap is still a lap. We'll never make that up. Bill?
Jeff Gordon didn't care about fuel mileage. He thought he might have left front damage, so he came down pit road, got 4 tires and fuel. Robbie Loomis, his crew chief, said the car is fine. That's showing that they might have some Daytona luck going for the 24 tonight.
A draft going with Rusty Wallace there.
Yeah, he had Rusty had a pretty good run going. I think Jeff saw that and dove down and got the push. Pretty good push, too.
Great push. And I can't believe Kenseth just drove up on the outside of Dale Jarrett up in turn 3. That's the black car on the outside of the UPS car. Now he's got some help from the 12 of Ryan Newman. It's hard to believe Ryan Newman's still running. We're halfway. He's had terrible luck with the super speedways this year here in Talladega.
Yeah, remember he got upside down here during the Daytona 500 at Talladega. He was involved in that nasty wreck early.
Michael Waltrip told me in the garage area early today that he felt like fuel mileage might decide the winner. And guess what? If this thing goes green flag the rest of the way, it will decide the winner. And it will be none of these guys right. You're seeing on the camera right now.
Those guys that came in right there and topped off.
That's right.
Speaking of Michael Waltrip, we intercepted this from his radio transmission a minute ago.
We're going to come down to it, Mike. Do you care who's behind you? Yeah, I care a little bit about everything. Only thing is, in order to pass somebody, if you lay back to get help, they just pass you. So the only person that's ever pushed me around anybody is Junior, because he's my teammate. And I've pushed him to this lead, so if I get ahead of him, I don't think they can beat me, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Well, I think with Kevin Harvick back here, he's not going to sit and ride and wait.
No.
You know, he wants to get to the front. He knows he's got to get to the front. So I think the first opportunity he sees, he's going to try to make a move, and hopefully he'll have, well, there he goes. There you go.
Harvick to the top. Who's going with him?
He's got to have some help. I'm surprised that Elliott or some of these guys aren't going with that 29 car.
Elliott Sadler, Jimmy Johnson, all choosing to stay tucked up behind Michael Waltrip.
Everyone is choosing the DEI car to hang with.
I don't understand that. Marty, you got Robbie.
I have found Robbie Gordon. What was your perspective on what happened, Robbie?
Kind of restrictor plate racing, you know. Kurt lost it in front of me. I had it saved. You know, not that I ever got loose or anything. I just kind of was slowing down with him, and someone creamed me from the back. So that's what I hate about these places. You know, you can kind of be a victim of circumstance at times. We were just riding around. We're going to lose a lot of points. It's going to be a disappointing week for us.
Did you see a tire go down on Kurt's car?
No, I didn't see a tire go down. I just saw him get on the apron. There was nothing shredded at that point, but is that what happened?
That's what he said, yes.
That or he drove on the apron, one or two.
All right, see you in Chicago.
Bye.
Robbie Gordon out of this Pepsi 400.
Boy, they just hung out Kevin Harvick.
Boy, they did.
How about a little 3-wide for you?
That's good. And there's Jeff Burton in the 99 car. He stopped. I think he can make it the rest of the way.
On to one more pit stop.
Yep, one more stop. Well, the leaders are going to have to stop twice.
Burton has lost some ground since the last restart, BP. About 6 positions. Let's see, Harvick shuffled back to 5th. You know, the storyline of this race is it's unfolding in my head so far. The fact that Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., and Michael Waltrip appear to have the 3 fastest cars. Yes. Harvick has been hard to pass when he's been out in front. And Michael Waltrip, every time he gets out in front, they come down pit road, and his own teammate is beating him off pit road. And that's the one car he's having to race the hardest.
Yeah. So, and again, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew has been under a lot of heat, a lot of pressure the last year because a couple of times they failed him when it come time to win the race. Tonight, they're doing the job. Mark Martin losing the spot to Jeff Gordon, I believe.
And Michael's in the same spot he was last night in the Busch race. And like he said after the Busch race, man, it is a lot of work running second place. And that's what he's going through right now.
Ken Schrader off the pace.
Oh, man.
Believe he might have cut down a right front tire when he came through the tri-oval, or something went wrong under the right front corner of his car because he started showing a lot of smoke, got up out of the way, and started slowing down. So either they've had a mechanical failure, or he's got a problem in the right front corner. Earnhardt Jr. has led 16 of the 86 laps that have been run so far. Kevin Harvick has led 53, but right now it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading NASCAR's Independence Weekend celebration. The All-American boy with his red, white, and black car out in front.
I'm an American boy. Got me a Chevy. Red, white, and blue.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s hold on the lead being challenged in the Pepsi 400. Jimmy Johnson trying to ride the high line around Daytona.
I thought Johnson had him off turn 2, but Junior somehow fought back down the back direction, retook the lead.
Not over yet. Kevin Harvick trying to push Jimmy Johnson. Earnhardt Jr.'s teammate Michael Waltrip behind him. And that black car with the gold numbers on the inside, that's Kenny Wallace fighting for third spot. How about that draft with Harvick and Johnson, Dave?
Well, that might be a great idea. Earlier, I picked up a radio transmission from Jimmy Johnson that said, hey, the 29 just left me out to dry. I helped him earlier. And just a few moments ago, they were talking about hooking up to Jimmy Johnson with the 29 car. And they said to him, Jimmy, you just got to believe he'll go with you. Matt?
Dave, the reason he hung him out back at the Daytona 500 and then again at Talladega, Kevin Harvick tried doing a deal with Jimmy Johnson. Johnson said he'd go with him, and then he hung him out. So it was payback time. Now Kevin Harvick is trying to get somebody, himself or Johnson, in between the 8 and 15. They feel like that's the only way you can beat the DEI guys is to get between them. That's the strategy now.
How about Spencer? He drove through that crash earlier, and here he is in the 6th position.
Started 40th.
And now you've got Jeff Gordon up there, so you've got Gordon and Jimmy Johnson as teammates. Kenny Wallace in the mix.
Looking back from Kenny Wallace on Jimmy Spencer. Wallace's car with the purple hood. There's Spencer in the light blue, number 7.
See, these guys don't forget. They don't forget about when you get hung out the last time. And you'd say, oh, yeah, well, no, you come back, you remember the guys that helped you and stuck with you. Remember the guys that hang out.
What I find fascinating about you drivers is you can just about remember every lap of every race you've ever run and what happened in it.
Sure can remember when somebody hangs you out to dry, especially after you've helped them. That's a real slap in the face.
The intense racing up front has settled down for a bit. See the front 5, now 6 have shaken out single file.
Hang out and do something.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads the 45th running of the Pepsi 400. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
July weekend here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Daytona International Speedway is lit up for the holiday, lit up for the race fans across America, and lit up for these drivers. They continue to charge around this 2.5-mile track on the road to the championship. Dale Earnhardt Jr. currently 3rd in the Winston Cup Championship standings, just 2 points behind Jeff Gordon. But on the racetrack, he continues to lead. His car is just a little tight. He can go to just past lap 100. That's the leader. Let's see how far we can take you through the field before something happens. We'll go past the 8 to the 15 and Marty.
To his teammate, Michael Waltrip, who's riding in 2nd right now, and that's exactly what he's doing. He said, I'm just riding right now. The big strategy here, when will they pit? They could go to lap 104, maybe to 106, Dave.
The radio traffic for Jimmy Johnson, a little less contentious this time. They tell him, Jimmy, let's just ride. He says, I'm thinking the same. Bill?
Jeff Gordon came in under that last caution to get 4 tires and check possible damage. No damage, and the 4 tires are really starting to pay off. That's what he told Robbie Loomis. Matt.
Bill, Kevin Harvick just jumped in front of Jeff Gordon, now up to 4th. Really no conversation about the way the car is handling, except the fact that they're looking around lap 104 to 105 to make their stop, Marty.
How about this run for Kenny Wallace, Matt? He's up to the 5th position, running very well, very happy with the car. They don't want to make any changes when they do come down pit road. Kenny's having a great time tonight singing on the radio, Dave.
Jimmy Spencer having a great run, too. Has made few changes on that car tonight. Little aero push, little tight. He just missed that that wreck off of turn 2. They came in, put on 4 tires, no changes. Bill?
Former Daytona 500 winner Ward Burton has virtually come from nowhere. Remember, he ran out of gas earlier in this race in turn 3. They had to push start the car. Then he thought he had a vibration. That went away. Now he's right up there inside the top 10. Good run for Ward again at Daytona, Marty.
Bill, Matt Kenseth sits in the 9th position, and if he wins this championship, he'll look at this night. He almost knocked down his pit crew members, barely missed the wreck, having a great run. Very happy with the car right now. Remember, he started 37th all the way up into the 9th position, Matt.
Rounding out the top 10 is 3-time Daytona winner Sterling Marlin. On 3 separate occasions, they have worked on that left front fender. It is good, but the car is still tight because of it. They're going to work a little more on their next stop, Alan.
And we're about to hit the 250-mile mark in the Pepsi 400. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads. So far, 2 caution flags have slowed tonight. Green flag pit stops coming up for the front runners, and on the lead lap, 33 of the 43 starters. Let's keep going through the field. Dave?
Alan, tonight for Ryan Newman, one big gripe. Needs more grip. Now for Jeff Burton, they pitted just a little while ago, and Jeff said they pitted under that caution for the wreck. If they get to lap 118, I checked with their team, they're going to go for it and see if they can make it to the end. Mark Martin, his teammate as well, running behind him. We talked earlier about the fact that this isn't one of Mark's favorite things to do, running restrictor plates. Well, he's been doing a pretty darn good job tonight. He stayed out the last time because he had only 5 laps on his tires. He had pitted just moments earlier. Matt?
Bill Elliott just climbed up into the 14th position. They're looking and thinking about using the bottom lane. His chassis has been better since they've been working at it all night. It's been tight. He's just trying to find the fast way around to pick up a 5th win, Bill.
Nice solid run for Bobby Labonte. Good to see him running toward the front of the field. A lot of times he runs in the back of the pack at these restrictor plate races for the first half or 3/4 and tries to move himself forward. His renewed confidence, the way the team's running, and Michael McSwain, his crew chief, have him running up front. Upstairs.
Hey, what? That 18th slicing and dicing right now.
Man, he just blew right by Mark Martin.
And let's check out the front of the pack. There's shuffling going on. Earnhardt Jr. hanging on to the top spot. Behind him, well, here they come to pit road. Leaders coming in.
And Junior smoking those tires.
Jimmy Johnson beat him to pit lane.
Michael Waltrip, Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, Elliott Sadler, all pitting. Marty.
I just asked Slugger Labby, why are you coming in 2 laps early? He said our strategy is not working out. Our fuel mileage advantage is not going to pay off tonight, Bill.
Junior couldn't believe he had to come in right now, but that was the opening of their window. They got to lap 104. Dave.
SpongeBob is in with Jimmy Johnson. 4 tires for him. No changes to the car this time. A little slow on the left rear, and now he's out of here.
Oh, man.
He may lose the drafting partner on that deal, although he's got Ryan right there.
Ryan and Jimmy got 4 tires. The other guys, the other 4 in front of them got 2. Kevin Harvick took over the lead when Earnhardt Jr. stopped. Now Harvick is on pit road, and he's by himself. Well, he's got 1 coming in behind him. It's Jeff Green.
But I don't think they're close enough to pick up a draft off each other when they lead the pits.
Matt?
And they lost their drafting partner, Robbie Gordon, in that crash. 2 tire change this stop. No adjustments for Kevin Harvick. Trying to pick up his first restrictor plate win. They packed the fuel cell full. He nods it's full, and Harvick's down and away.
See, normally the signal for these drivers to leave the pit area is when the drag jack drops. But now they're getting the car down, and the pit crew, the crew chief is telling them on the radio when to go.
Right.
That way he's able to rev the engine up and get the car really moving fast.
And they drop the car and finish fueling, too, as well.
That helps put more fuel in the car.
Jeff Gordon heading for pit road. Kenny Wallace will come in. Ward Burton takes over the lead as we follow Gordon to the attention of his crew. Bill?
And Jeff Gordon brings it to a stop. They wanted to try and lead a lap before they came down pit road. Right side tires tear off from the windshield. Fuel coming in. Come around to the left side. Again, it's going to be 4 tires. And I believe the reason for this is Jeff said he felt the benefit of the 4 tires. They had to wait for fuel. Now he's on his way, and that $1 million car is trying to make the payoff in victory lane.
That's good pit stops. Boy, it's tough to lead these pits with these tall first gears.
I thought he lost a couple seconds trying to get out of his pit stall.
Yeah, no, he definitely. And the pit stop was great, but that's why these guys rev him up, because when they get going, they got to spin the tires, and it helps them lead the pits because these first gears are so tall in these cars.
Ward Burton, the 22 car, is the leader, but look who's trying to take the lead away. The 17 car of Kenseth. Wouldn't it be something if he started 37th and got 5 bonus points for leading the lap?
Got Mongo on his tail. He may just get those points, BP.
Boy, Mongo is chasing him hard.
Jimmy Spencer in that 7 car. Mark Martin is on pit road, and he's in by himself. And I'll tell you what, if a lot of these guys start to check out the pit road all at once in this big pack, it could get really hairy on the race.
Yep.
Not familiar with how the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship works, if you lead a lap in the race, you collect 5 bonus points towards the championship. If you lead the most laps in the race, you collect another 5 bonus points. Marty?
And remember, Alan, they pitted a little bit later than most of the other teams did. They pitted on lap 75. They can actually go as far as lap 117. The problem is he's worked great tonight with Ward Burton. They've come up through the field together. Ward can only go to 116. So look for those 2 cars to come to pit road about the same time.
Well, that's the problem. That leaves 44 to go.
That's right.
Too many. I don't know if they can run that many laps.
Beginning to close up on some of the cars who just made pit stops and are trying to come back up to speed. Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, and Jeff Gordon. So Gordon right now on the tail end of the lead lap. Matt Kenseth right behind him. You know, Matt Kenseth really has a remarkable record so far this season. Through the 16 races that have been run, he has finished all but 1 possible lap.
And you know what, Benny? Matt's looking at Jeff Gordon right now in some of those cars in front of him. He would love to get by them. In case the yellow does come out, puts him a lap down.
Now, as you watch the ticker across the top of the screen with the running order, the cars whose drivers' names are being shown in yellow, they have made pit stops in this cycle. The names being shown in white have not yet stopped. So that's a way for you to keep track of who is running where as we go through the set of green flag stops. Matt Kenseth, Ward Burton, top 2 right now, Bill.
Boy, I'm just really impressed with the run for Ward. Crew Chief Frank Stoddard said his guy will be on pit road on lap 116. That's when they expect the 17 to come at the same time. He's going to be their partner. They wanted Jeff Burton to come at the same time, but Burton can't stay out this long. Marty.
Bill, like BP said, if they pit on 116, that'll be 44 laps to go. I just asked Robbie Reiser, can you go all the way from that point? He said no, but we're close. Yesterday we ran 40 laps in happy hour, and there was a gallon and a half of fuel left in the fuel tank. That would put them right on the edge of it, but when you're running for a championship, you can't risk it, Bill.
I think a lot of guys are thinking about what happened here a year ago. Remember, this race finished under caution. That's happened here before. You may not need enough fuel to run 160 laps at full speed. Keep that in mind.
Remember that Ward Burton and Matt Kenseth both pitted at lap 75. That's 11 laps later than the cars who've already been in. Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and so forth. So that's the pad that's allowing them to stay out on the track. And also for Ward, 4 fresh tires he took on then helped him get up through the group. Matt Kenseth leads the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. What a great sight. Daytona International Speedway at night. And the 45th running of the Pepsi 400 charging on under the green flag before better than 160,000 NASCAR fans. It is Matt Kenseth leading. Now Bobby Labonte has moved up to second behind him. Jeff Burton running third. Shuffling up the running order just a bit here as we close in on a set of pit stops for these drivers. You've got Ward Burton back Jones, Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Spencer, and Kyle Petty. And now Jimmy Spencer is on pit road as Labonte chases Kenseth. Dave Burns, let's cover Jimmy Spencer's stop.
2 tires and no changes, Alan, for him. The admonition coming down pit road, pump your brakes, make sure they work. They did. They also said when the jack drops, you go. They're trying to get a little bit more fuel in there, though, see how far they can go, and he's gone.
46 to go is probably asking a little too much.
Can't do it.
Just to make sure Cleto on the lead unless he has to, okay? So on that 18, a lead a lap, and he's going to fit on the same lap. I'll come in this time for you. Here I go. Come this time for sure.
Sounds like Matt's coming in. Trying to get the 99, it sounded like, to lead a lap. He's got to get by Bobby first.
Bobby's one of his rivals for the championship. Bobby is fourth in the standings coming in, whereas Jeff Burton is 16th. Might not be worth giving Jeff 5 points if Bobby gets him. All right, here are the guys who stopped already, the previous leaders. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick and Michael Waltrip have got back together in the draft. And you see how far they are behind Matt Kenseth after the pit stops.
Almost a lap.
And Kenseth peeling off from turn 4 and heading for pit road. 44 to go.
Man, I don't know.
They're going to try. What do you think, Marty?
Well, Wally Robbie Reiser told me that earlier today that a win or a top 10 tonight would be just like a win for these guys. It's going to be 2 tires and no change for Matt Kenseth. They're very happy with the car, Bill.
It's 2 right side tires for Ward Burton as well. Waiting on fuel. The 17 goes. The 22 follows them. The plan was to pit together.
What do you think, BP? Do you go? You're in the lead for the championship.
No, you can't gamble. You cannot gamble running out of fuel. Too many cars will end up getting by you. But Jeff Burton now is the guy that might gamble and try to make it.
We're getting 28 cars on the lead lap.
All right, here comes Burton.
You run out of fuel here at Daytona, you may not coast all the way back around, and if you do, you're going to lose a lot.
But if you got to stop, how many are you going to lose anyway? Depending on how many of these other guys got to stop.
Well, there's a bunch of them right now, right? Yeah. Junior and Michael Waltrip and Kevin Harvick, all those guys are going to have to stop.
Nice straight wheel, foot on the brake, close to the wall here. He looks good. I'm going to ease the jack down on the right side. I'm going to ease the jack down on the right side.
This was about a lap and a half, maybe a lap earlier than they wanted to come. They wanted to make sure they didn't stall the car, run out of fuel, and have to refire it. But they said they're going to go for it, so we'll see. Packing it and holding it, getting all the fuel in there they can. And now he leaves 2 right side tires as well.
Bobby Labonte is now the leader after Jeff Burton's pit stop.
Wait, you're right, Benny. You know they're going to go for it.
Yeah, they got to go for it.
Now they've got nothing to lose at all.
But Bobby Labonte is still out there, and he had to be another car that stopped on lap 75.
That's right.
And he's still out there.
Let me go check my notes.
Uh-oh. Alan's doing math.
No, I'm not doing math. I just want to check when he stopped.
Check lap 75.
That's where I'm looking, and I don't see the number. For the 18 here. No, you know what? He stopped on the 1 to go at the end of that caution and dropped off at 77.
Lap 77, you're right.
My handwriting's not the best.
He can do it. He can do it. Here he comes.
Bobby Labonte pitting, 41 laps to go when he crosses the start-finish line.
And he just ran 41 laps, so he can make it the rest of the way.
Here he comes, Bill.
You bet they can make it. And they've got great coaching going on from the top of that pit box with Michael McSwain. Bobby Labonte on pit road looking for a win here at Daytona. Around to the right side. They put on the 2 right side tires, and that's going to be it. They're going to pack it full of fuel. They get the nod from the gas man, and Bobby Labonte is on his way.
Here comes his brother right behind him.
And Greg Biffle, another car that can probably make it the rest of the way.
And the 4th car coming off pit road there is Ricky Rudd in the Wood Brothers car. He's probably good to the finish. So if those 4 cars can hook up, do a little work together.
I think Ricky is a little bit too far behind right now to hook up with the 3 guys that just left in front of him.
He better check his mirror. Here come the leaders.
In a hurry.
So Junior has gone back to the lead now after all these cars have made their pit stop. but he's got to stop again.
Right. Yep. Boy, oh boy. 40 laps to go in this one. 100 miles left in the Pepsi 400. Rocking and rolling all night here in Daytona Beach. Trouble off turn 2. Is this the big wreck?
Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. You're the man, buddy.
NASCAR on NBC bringing you the 45th Pepsi 400 from Daytona. We're inside the final 100 miles. We've got fuel mileage into the equation. And we've got some great pit work that has a different driver leading than we thought.
Bobby Labonte and those guys maintain the lead. Terry Labonte, Greg Biffle, but Junior has passed these guys. He's up to second. Biffle's third. Terry Labonte is fourth.
But Bobby and Terry Labonte can go the distance on fuel. Junior cannot.
Got to stop. He's going to run out of fuel if this thing stays green. They need a caution flag.
Check the Napa Field summary for you. Just past 300 miles. 10 different drivers have led today. Kevin Harvick has led the most. Dale Earnhardt Jr. the second most. The rest of them basically have been a shuffle during green flag pit stops. Cars out of the race. Ken Schrader, the only one officially retired from the event. It was an engine failure that sent Kenny to the garage. And the caution flags, one at lap 64 when Dave Blaney got tagged and spun off turn 2. Another at lap 75 when Kurt Busch cut a right rear tire, he says, off turn 2. 7 cars involved in the accident by the time it was done. All of the cars involved in the wreck had made repairs and returned to the event, except for Mike Wallace and Robbie Gordon. Theirs are still in the garage. Bobby Labonte leads. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. Greg Biffle third. Terry Labonte fourth. Michael Waltrip fifth. Kevin Harvick now just got shuffled back. He's behind Michael Waltrip in sixth.
Now Terry Labonte in the 5 car is going to get shuffled back as Michael gets alongside of him, and all these guys going to line up and try to go with Michael.
Take a look at our Chevy drivers' standings tonight with the Chevy leaderboard. You see they're doing fairly well. First, second, fourth, fifth, sixth. Not too shabby.
And Harvick looking to break out. I know he'd break out if he had somebody to go with him.
Terry Labonte is the guy that's getting shuffled right now. Yeah. Sterling Marlin, who is inside, pushing Terry another spot back. Fuel strategy is going to play into deciding who wins this one if we don't see the caution flag. And of course, it's Daytona, and the tension grows in the closing laps. The big wreck still a possibility. 34 to go. And here comes Junior challenging Bobby Labonte for the race lead.
And he has all kinds of help. See him go up against Labonte and try to get him a surge to get by him.
Yeah, but Billy and I were talking about that earlier. If you drive right up against a guy's door as you're going to pass him, you get that surge. And we think that's air being forced into your cowl that helps you with some more horsepower just for that second.
Cowl being the opening up by the windshield on these cars where the air intake is. So Earnhardt Jr. is back out in front. 33 to go. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. 30 laps to go in the Pepsi 400. Changes in the running order. Michael Waltrip to third. Kevin Harvick to fourth, behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Greg Biffle. Bobby Labonte getting shuffled back. Check our Walmart race fact. Last driver to win both Daytona races in the same year.
Bobby Allison, 1982. I was defeated both times that year.
Of course, Michael Waltrip tried to win 3 straight here, but he won this July race 1 year ago, and then the 500 in February. Here's Michael being worked on by Kevin Harvick for third spot. Harvick is short one thing.
Help. No drafting aid for the 29 car.
Matt Kenseth in the middle of that group. Black car. What an impressive run for that team tonight. Mark Martin running back in 17th position at the moment. The Roush teammates all started pretty far back. They've all worked their way pretty far up front. Marty?
Done a pretty good job so far tonight, Alan. Of course, Daytona Beach is Mark Martin's hometown, and just down the road in New Smyrna Beach, he built a racetrack for little ones to race on, where his son Matt races bandoleros, legends cars, and quarter midgets at the track that Mark spent the money to build himself. Matt is just 12 years old, and already Ford has signed him to a contract. Talk about your NASCAR youth movement. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Mark Martin, 17th position at this moment in the Pepsi 400. Bill.
With Tony Eury Jr., you're leading, but I don't think you're winning.
No, we're definitely not winning. We're in a bad situation right now, and we're going to try to make the best of it. The 18th kind of was in. Luckily, he was back there towards the back of that wreck, and we got like 4 of them that can make it. We're not going to be able to make it, so I'm going to stop here and put 2 tires on it, and hopefully these guys have to stop when the caution comes out. But caution's the only thing that we got going for us, you know. Right now, we're just kind of a sitting duck, but we're going to have to make the best of it, see what happens.
Tony, looking back, you probably should have come under that caution period.
Well, we couldn't make it. That's the whole reason we didn't fit. We lacked like 4 laps for making it all the way, and so it would do us no benefit to do it. So, you know, we're just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and this is what we got dealt.
And I need a little luck.
Yeah, need a little luck. We've had a lot of it this year. Can't complain. You know, Daytona's been great to us, and you know, we'll just take what we can get out of here.
Okay, they couldn't stop under the caution because it wouldn't have put them in their window anyway, so they stayed out, and now that strategy might be coming back to bite them, but they were in a lose-lose situation.
I was talking to Danny Earnhardt, Dale Jr.'s uncle, earlier in the week, and he said Tony Jr. that we just talked to and Dale Earnhardt Jr. this year, their communication has been spot on. Those guys have really worked together great this year.
It shows.
And it does show.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. third in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship standings, coming into tonight's race, 176 points behind Matt Kenseth. Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning this race in 2001. What a memorable night that was. But right now he's in a bad spot, as you heard Bill and Tony Jr. say. Expecting Earnhardt Jr. in somewhere around lap 140. A little bit, about 6 laps to go before then, so let's take a break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NASCAR's All-American Stock Car Racing Celebration underway at Daytona International Speedway. Fireworks all weekend long, here both on and off the track. It's the Pepsi 400 being led by Dale Earnhardt Jr., and we're about to hit the 350-mile mark of the race. The little challenge for third spot here. On the move on the outside comes Jimmy Johnson. And Greg Biffle with a big wiggle off turn 2.
And he's still caught in the middle. He's trying to block these guys, but guess what? Couldn't do it. They just go by him on both sides.
And really, don't you think BP would be better for Biffle to get out of this track? Because when they start peeling off, he doesn't want to be in the middle of it.
Remember, Greg Biffle has fuel. Oh, here they come. Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming to pit road with 21 laps to go. Waltrip passing Jr. as they come to the speeding line for pit road speed.
But Waltrip is going to pit first, so he has to slow down for his pit stall, and Earnhardt Jr. continues on. Here comes Ryan Newman, several cars. Marty.
Michael Waltrip very happy with the car, very upset about the fuel strategy. However, they're going to do the best they can. There'll be no changes again. 2 tire stalls it a little bit, Bill.
2 right-side tires, a chassis adjustment, and fuel for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He may not be racing for the win now, but if you're an Earnhardt fan, he could be racing for the championship.
And Dale Jr. beat him out again.
Yes, he did.
His third time tonight. So how do they play out against the guys who have not stopped?
Well, Biffle is going to be out there the lone dog, I think. When all these guys start peeling off, he is in a good position. He's second on the racetrack. But the guys he's racing are going to be in the draft, and they may catch and pass him.
Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Kenny Wallace, Todd Bodine all pitting here. Patty.
And Kevin Harvick coming in. They're going to make a 2-tire change. Harvick says the car had gone to the loose side. They're going to back up on the adjustments they made in the last stop. As soon as the tires are on, they're going to drop the jack, and he's gone, Bill.
And Jeff Gordon heading down pit road after making his stop. 2 right side tires and fuel.
Jimmy Johnson was in and off pit road. 2 tires to the right side, a chassis adjustment just a little tight. He might win. He's got a fast car in his 4th start here at Daytona.
So Greg Biffle is now the leader of the Pepsi 400. Matt Kenseth runs second. We believe Biffle has the fuel to go to the distance. What about Kenseth, the second-place car? Marty?
And Robbie Reiser's on the radio with Matt Kenseth just now. Matt asks, are you sure we cannot go all the way? I want to beat those guys. Robbie, will leading the points cost you a chance to win this race?
Well, I think so, because we could have maybe gambled a lap or 2 here, and we could have made it to the end. But with the point battle, we just couldn't take that chance. If I run them out of gas, we'd lose a lot more. So this was the way we had to go. It's a safe route.
When will you have to pit?
What about 3 to go?
Wow, 3 to go. They'll top off. He'll come down pit road. Now remember, Robbie Reiser told me earlier this morning he feels like restrictor plate racing is by far the weakest part of their program. A top 10 tonight is as good as a win.
And what a break for Greg Biffle, that his teammate can stay out there till 3 laps to go.
And we talked about this in the preview show. Is these guys now are going to start thinking about this point championship. It's halfway through the season, and instead of gambling for the win, they're thinking points.
The question is, will he get a top 10 finish out of it even after he stops with a splash of fuel late in the race? Last commercial under green flag conditions before we see the checkers. Back to Daytona in a minute. Down to the final 15 laps in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona International Speedway. A little drama being played out here in the final laps with fuel mileage coming into play, perhaps deciding who might steal the Daytona victory. Greg Biffle is the race leader. Good to go to the finish on his gasoline. But another pack of cars, including Jeff Gordon, have just made a green flag pit stop to take on the fuel that they need to go to the finish, and they're a long ways behind. Gordon running in 20th place, and he is a good distance behind the race leader. You see Gordon's car carrying a little bit of a different paint scheme tonight, part of a Pepsi consumer promotion where 4 people from Ohio, Alabama, Florida, and Oregon could win a brand new Chevy Monte Carlo tonight if Jeff Gordon wins the race.
It's pretty good incentive for them to root for Jeff Gordon.
It's Todd Bodine trying to work with Jeff and see if they can find a way around some of these cars in front of him.
I don't think they should be looking for the keys just yet on that one.
I don't think so, huh?
I tell you what, those guys are pushing and shoving.
Yeah, did you see Earnhardt push Jimmy Johnson?
Gordon turn 3, little bump draft.
Harvick and Johnson did pass Earnhardt Jr. and Waltrip a moment or 2 ago during the commercial break. Again, these guys, if they get a caution, they're going to be contenders for the win. If they don't get a caution, then Greg Biffle, Bobby Labonte, Ricky Rudd, and Terry Labonte. Those are the guys that stopped late enough that we know they're good to the finish on gasoline.
And they're kind of scattered out, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've got
Biffle's first. Labonte's 6th. Rudd is 11th, and Terry is 12th.
But there's space in between them.
And we just told the story about Matt Kenseth and his potential fuel stop with 3 to go. Marty, you got more?
Well, just don't let it be said that Matt Kenseth is championship racing. He's asked Robbie Reiser twice now to go refigure the fuel mileage. He wants to win this race. So Robbie's climbed down the ladder twice, gone to Dave Toronto, the guy who figures the fuel mileage for the 17 bunch, and he said every time we cannot do it. The voice of championship reason is Robbie. He said, Matt, we're going to have to pit.
And that decision made all the more difficult because this is Daytona.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And he's sitting there looking at it going, man, I can taste it.
I mean, it's what, 2 car lengths in front of him, the checkered flag. If he could get by Biffle, oh, man.
Oh, check this out. 3 deep around the David Green lapped car. And these guys back here, Harvick is running 15th. So this is 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th.
But you're right, if the caution flag should come out, it might be the race for the lead and the win.
Dale Jarrett's just been on and off pit road for his final stop. Sterling Marlin is in now. So thin that lead pack by a couple of more. As Michael Waltrip tries to fend off Jimmy Johnson.
Comes Todd Bodine in to join this race.
All right, let's go back up front. Greg Biffle, we believe, good to go to the finish on fuel.
Well, he's got to run 41 laps, and I believe that he ran 41 laps the last time. Randy Goss has got to be beside himself, the crew chief for Greg Biffle. Jimmy Spencer peels off. He's coming to pit road.
Now, here's what we talked about. We got 4 cars in the draft, and Bobby Labonte by himself.
Yeah, can Biffle pull away from Labonte? Can these guys help him do that?
Right. That's what we talked about, being scattered out. That draft, those 4 cars are running a lot quicker than Bobby by himself right now.
This could be big, Wally. Could be real big.
Elliott Sadler there in the 38 just in front of Biffle. He's already made that splash and dash pit stop at 1:39. And that's going to help him even more. That's what Biffle wants. That's perfect.
That's exactly what he needed. Somebody that could go the rest of the way to get in front of him and tow him along.
And same for Tony Stewart. He stopped on the same lap that Elliott Sadler did. Ward Burton, Bill, what do you got on him?
I just want to try and make it a little bit more confusing. I talked to his crew chief, Frank Stoddard. He said based on their first calculations, the 22 car could not go to the finish on their last stop. He said based on their last run, they'll be about a half a lap short. So he's not sure what he's going to do, but if he's half a lap short, he'll be running out on the track, I believe.
I believe you're right, Bill.
You know, the last lap, Bobby Labonte ran as fast as Greg Biffle. But I don't know if he can keep that up. He's pedaling as hard as he can to keep up with his group as we watch Jeff Burton, Ward Burton.
And we look ahead to the race leaders.
Labonte is, he's almost able to get something off these cars to keep up. Check it this time by. He, once again, ran the same speed as Biffle.
Oh, that's surprising. Well, like you said, Benny may be close enough to be catching the draft off him.
Here goes Biffle by the 38 car. Kenseth is going to go with him.
Got 3 Fords there, but there's a little branding work there with Elliott Sadler running in behind Biffle now. Greg Biffle's name is new to you. He's from Vancouver, Washington, just across the river from Portland, Oregon. Started out local racing in the northwestern part of the country. Liked it so much he developed a business building race car chassis and parts. Got discovered by old BP.
I saw him at Tucson at winter heat. And here's a kid that came down there, never seen the racetrack, sat on the pole, led all 150 laps, and as you said, 25 years old and built race cars for a living. I said, what a package this is. And Labonte is back there. He's caught up with this crowd.
Wow.
Man, my hat is off to Bobby Labonte. He pedaled hard to catch this group.
So you got the rookie, Greg Biffle, in his first year of NASCAR Winston Cup racing, and the former champion Bobby Labonte, who has never won at Daytona. He's finished second here twice, has Labonte. He's not taken the trophy.
Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, he's still in there in second spot, but he has got to make a pit stop. Oh! Tony Stewart on the inside of
Ryan Newman.
That was close.
Those guys are racing for a position. They're racing for 23rd and 24th. Tail end of the lead lap. Here we go. These guys get side by side here. Bobby Labonte may make a move right now. Trying to squeeze his way back up in the draft. Kenseth jumps in behind him. Bobby may just pull it off right here.
Here comes Bobby. And also, Labonte has his teammate in front of Greg Biffle now. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Bobby Labonte around Matt Kenseth. Now right in behind Greg Biffle for the race lead. 5 laps to go at Daytona. Now we'll see some air driving. Bobby Labonte, the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, driving for Coach Joe Gibbs, has had tremendous struggles in these races at Daytona and Talladega this year. Here comes Matt.
Kenseth is waving to the car behind him. He's got to go make a pit stop, telling Elliott Sadler. Matt, what are they saying? What's Randy Goss and those guys saying?
Something just flew off the 31 car, Benny, coming down the front straightaway. They also told 16 of Biffle that the 17 is peeled off, so Bobby Labonte won't have any help. You're going to have to go it alone. Keep your eyes on that mirror.
We remain under green.
You're right.
NASCAR spotters around the racetrack, not calling in any debris. And the race stays at full speed as the championship leader kicks. Meantime, Bobby Labonte looking outside. No help.
No help. That's the problem Bobby's got right now. He doesn't have anybody to help push him by Biffle.
Elliott Sadler has dropped off that lead group. What about Tony Stewart? He is Bobby Labonte's teammate, the first car in that line.
Well, if maybe Tony moved up the racetrack, he might be able to help Bobby, but the problem is if he does that, he'll lose the position of Ryan Newman.
How about experience versus inexperience here? Bobby's been in so many of these races, Greg is not. Can Bobby force him into a mistake?
Got to be worth something, that experience. That time he moved high up in 3 and 4. Biffle, again, mirror driving, moved up to block that move.
Less than 3 laps to go.
Whatever
Biffle slides up a little bit.
Whatever Biffle does, Bobby will do the opposite. And I think you're right. He could force him into, if he makes him run down low, then he'll try to shoot up on the outside and get beside him. If he does that, then I think Tony will move up the racetrack or down the racetrack to help the 18-car draft by.
But we're not going to see anything like Tony Stewart sliding up, dropping back behind Bobby and trying to push him around in this last lap or two.
Should have done it by now if he was going to do it.
Coming down. Just a couple to go.
But I think Tony will start moving around the racetrack a little bit.
Greg Biffle came up the ladder the NASCAR way. Started racing at the local NASCAR sanctioned tracks. Went to the regional touring series in the Northwest and Southwest. Then became the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion after hooking up with Jack Roush. On to the NASCAR Busch Series champion there 1 year ago.
And if the caution flag should come out now, the race is over. They will not red flag this race with less than 5 laps to go.
Matt, what about Biffle?
The guy calling the race from the spotter stand for Greg Biffle is Joel Edmonds, who last night was calling the race for Michael Waltrip. They came home second. He's telling him, keep it on the bottom. The AP will try you high, but just keep it on the bottom. He has no help.
Ward Burton is on pit road out of gas. White flag is in the air. Final lap. Are we seeing a rookie breakthrough at the biggest track of all? Or can Bobby Labonte get a run and Labonte slow down? Is Labonte out of gas?
He's out of fuel.
Bobby Labonte's come up dry.
He's
definitely out of fuel. Now Biffle can try and breathe it and make sure he has enough because it's a long way back to Jeff Burton. 3 seconds. What an upset this is going to be. Final corner for Greg Biffle. There'll be a celebration in the Pacific Northwest tonight. There's his girlfriend Nicole. For Jack Roush, Greg Biffle is going to score a win at Daytona in just his 23rd NASCAR Winston Cup start. Greg Biffle wins the Pepsi 400.
And Roush comes 1-2, and Ricky Rudd comes in third. Another car close with close Jack Roush ties. All right, guys, congratulations to you.
Awesome job, guys. Way to go.
Randy Goss, the crew chief's voice there.
The voice of reason.
Call him Radar. Looks a little bit like the actor that played the Radar character in the old MASH series. How about Greg Biffle? First-time winner this season. Just his 23rd Winston Cup start. He's a winner at Daytona. Huge.
Long way from Vancouver, Washington.
Bobby Labonte coasted all the way across the start-finish line to finish 5th. So that won't cost him any championship points. Remember, he's one of the players for the title coming into the race. And despite the fact that it was Chevrolets that did most of the leading all night, Matt, a Ford wound up taking the checkered flag.
The NASCAR Truck Series, the Busch Series, now Winston Cup. Congratulations, Randy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm just so proud of the guys. Thank you. Thanks, bud. Just so proud of everybody. I don't have to tell you, we've been struggling. The Granger team's been struggling. It's been a hard year for us in Winston Cup. We used to winning. I just want to thank everybody that stuck behind us. Our fab shop, especially our engine shop, our guys in Michigan, they just dig hard for us. And they just never, ever even complained about it. Just really appreciate it.
How special to pull it off here at Daytona, Randy? This is the biggest one.
Well, it's hard for me right now because we've been struggling so much. We qualified 30th, and you have to get everything just right. My engineer, Dave Winston, you know, I run us out of gas at Sears Point, and now we're gambling on the gas. It works out for us, but it's a tough position.
41 laps on fuel for the former national motorcycle champion. Now he's going to Winston Cup victory lane.
Bill? I just want to tell you, Greg Biffle said you'll have to tell me where victory lane is. I don't know. He just found it. And this will be a wild scene.
Yes, it will. Greg Biffle scoring the win at Daytona tonight over his teammate Jeff Burton. A Roush Racing sweep of the first and second spots. Ricky Rudd, Terry and Bobby Labonte rounding out the top 5. For Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to make the extra stop on fuel. He finishes 7th.
Not yet. Tell me when. Remember all the good stuff, Biffle.
Getting all the instructions.
All the victory lane stuff.
All right, Bill, take it away.
Well, he's been to victory lane a number of times before, but this is his first in the Winston Cup Series, and it comes at Daytona, the sport's most famous track.
Wish they'd show some emotion, huh?
Congratulations.
Thanks. I tell you what, that I can't say enough about Matt Kenseth. You know, that guy, there isn't words to explain how he made me win this race tonight. I mean, he backed off the 18 there, and if he had stayed up with him, he'd have pushed him by, and then they were going to go by us on the back stretch, and Matt pulled down and sacrificed a spot for a win for me. And I tell you, these Granger guys have worked so hard. Everybody, I can't say enough about Roush Racing and Ford, this Ford Taurus, really loose, but really fast.
You're a long way from tiny Tucson, Arizona tonight.
Yeah, I am. I just wish that my mom and dad and my brother could be here for my first Cup win and say hi to them back home, and everybody's helped me get here. It's meant a lot to me.
How did you get here, Greg?
This man right here.
It's tough, buddy. It's really tough. You can do it.
Yeah. Here's the actual team owner right over here, the 16 car, Jeff Smith. These guys are just, we've had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of downs lately, you know. Ran out of gas, running 9th to 10th, and got involved with Tony Stewart a few times there and got the short end of the stick. But you know, these guys would just never give up, and here we are.
Okay, now hang on just a second. I want you to put on this headset, and there's somebody that wants to congratulate you, and you'll probably recognize this voice.
Hey, Biffle, good job.
Thanks, BP. Hi all to you, buddy.
Man, it's been a long time since Tucson, Arizona, hasn't it?
Man, it has, and without your help, getting me hooked up with Jack Roush and everybody out in Tucson, all my buddies, John Sewell and John Baker, everybody's helped me out in Tucson get here tonight. Means a lot to me.
I told Jack Roush 5 or 6 years ago you could get the job done. I wondered, but you finally have proven me right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was just a pit call by Randy Goss tonight and the team, and that last minute I dove down pit road to get that extra bit of fuel. That was kind of my decision, his decision, and it really worked out for us tonight. Didn't work out last week, but it paid off tonight.
Okay, you owe me a big dinner, all right?
Hey, you bet, BP.
Greg Biffle, congratulations on your first Winston Cup win. Enjoy it. Greg Biffle in victory lane, his first Winston Cup win. It comes at Daytona. He can brag for life.
The 45th running of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona was a great one. A lot of drama, first-time winner, and we continue our post-race coverage here on NBC. Downstairs to Dave Burns.
Well, Bobby Labonte ended up with a top 5 finish quietly across the line, out of fuel. What did that feel like when you knew you were in contention to win this thing?
Well, you know, I just want to thank all the guys on the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Yesterday we weren't that good in the first practice. Got a lot better in the second practice, and had a great race car. You know, not only did we, gamble there, or not gamble, but we were able to get that gas and not have to pit like some other guys did. But it was a pretty fast race car, too. I mean, wasn't as good as some of them, but it was, probably top 10. And then it's kind of disappointing to finish 5th when you think you had a shot for a win or finish 2nd at least, but that's the way it goes, and, still pretty happy. This is probably like the first restrictor plate race I've finished in about 4 years, so I feel
not on your top or anything.
Yeah. Dude, I'm happy about that, but and again, the guys did a good job, and that's what it was all about. Wish we could have won, but, congratulate Greg Biffle, and, our guys did a great job, and we came home 5th, out of gas and everything, so, all in all, that would, sometimes we wouldn't have been able to do that, but tonight, the way the circumstances were, we finished 5th like that.
All right, still looking for a win, but pretty positive about tonight. Marty?
Well, Dave, Jeff Burton was told on the radio that he was half a lap short, so exactly when did the fuel conservation begin, Jeff?
When we left pit road, really. As soon as we left, he said we were half a lap short, and so if you can't save at the beginning of it, you'll never get a chance to save, so we kind of got out of the middle of the pack and just sat there and rode for a little while, just trying to not lose the pack. And then we got kind of behind, and then I had to stay in the gas and go, but and kept, was hoping we didn't run out of gas. But good day for us. We ran well. We not only finished well, but we ran well tonight. And this team in the second half is going to be strong. I really believe that. Real proud of Greg Biffle and those guys. Big fan of Greg Biffle and Randy Goss, and glad to see them in victory lane.
Conserving fuel cost you a shot at the win, you think?
Well, it cost us a shot from being there, just because I wasn't worried about being there. I was worried about just staying in line and lifting. I was running a half throttle an awful lot, and so people were passing me. But sometimes you got to win with your brain and not your foot, and we thought that was the position we were in.
Nonetheless, the season's best finish of 2nd tonight at Daytona for Jeff Burton. Alan?
Let's check NASCAR's top 10 after tonight's Pepsi 400. Matt Kenseth's lead actually growing from 174 points to 180, with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon swapping 2nd and 3rd positions. Matt?
And point leader Matt Kenseth looking over the final roster. A good night by Roush.
Yeah, it turned out great. We didn't. It looked pretty glum on Friday, qualifying 30th and worse. But the Smirnoff Ice Triple Black guys did a great job tonight. They had great pit stops. We had good pit strategy. We stopped and topped off once, but we didn't top off with one to go. And we're just a teeny bit short on fuel and couldn't quite take the chance. So for the 16, that was a great move for them, and the 99 and them guys. They were either going to win or run out and finish 20th. So I was kind of glad we did it like it was. But yet another hand, if we would have topped off, I knew it would have been real close. But I'd rather finish 6th than to run out of gasoline. So it was a good run for us.
Now it seems like at Daytona and Talladega, always a place where you get caught up in the big one, lose a lot of points. You dodged a big bullet tonight.
Yeah, I think it happened. I definitely, I'd be lying if I say I don't feel better walking out of here tonight 6th than when I came in here starting last. I wasn't really necessarily looking forward to this race, but our car handled really good. It actually drafted really good. I don't know why it's so slow by itself, but it runs, really competitively in the race. So to be through all 3 plate races and not have a wreck yet, I'm just happy with that.
Matt Kenseth pads his point lead. On to Chicago next. Alan?
Sometimes you got to be a little lucky to win one of these NASCAR Winston Cup championships. Nice job of driving. Little luck there, too, for Matt Kenseth, missing that big pileup off of turn number 2 earlier in the race. And the Rockets' red glare.
Isn't that beautiful?
The big Independence Weekend celebration not done yet here in Daytona Beach. And there's a celebration of another kind. Time for the champagne. How about it, Dave?
Well, Ricky Rudd will be celebrating with the Wood Brothers. Another top 5 for them here at Daytona. But for you, best finish of the season's got to feel great.
Yeah, I really do. John Wood, Eddie Wood's son, won the truck race today, and it's been nice to sneak in there and win this thing. And Biffle, is good job for him, his first win. And Roush Racing was pretty neat, 1, 2, 3 on their motors tonight. Just the Wood Brothers, Motorcraft, Air Force Taurus. These guys just played at Pat Trace and played a smart race. They set that fuel strategy thing up about lap 100, and wasn't but a few guys that could do it or thought about it. And Pat was one of them, and it put us in 3rd.
Did you have a great handling car as well tonight? They say at Daytona, you've got to be able to work it in the turns as well. How was your car?
Well, our car, the longer we ran, the better we were. We were sort of set up for the old days when they had the big fuel cell, I guess. The longer we ran, the better we got. And right there at the end of that race, we were able to pass a lot of cars when we got everybody out on 2 tires, us included. We were pretty racy. We could, hang with the leaders, pass a few cars, and we're going to have a good finish, really, contrary to the fuel situation. But as it turns out, the fuel situation probably increases probably at least 7 spots on the grid.
And you like being welcomed back into the top 5?
Yeah, I don't know how to act. I was walking back to the motorhome a while ago, and everybody started grabbing me. I didn't know what all the hoopla was about. And I guess top 5 has got a few responsibilities, but they're great responsibilities to be able to sit here and talk with you guys after the race.
Well, it's great to have you here, and of course, we're doing a little extra time tonight here on NBC, so it's a good time to have you finish in the top 5, Ricky. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And I'm with probably the happiest man in Daytona, Jack Roush. Greg Biffle in victory lane. Matt Kenseth dodges a bullet, increases his lead in the championship standings.
That's wonderful stuff. You know, I'm glad to have my son, young Jack, here with me tonight to see it, and so many friends from the great race. But we just had a great evening. It's very seldom that we have a chance to prevail on fuel mileage. Randy Goss's strategy was perfect. The mileage worked out, and the car had enough speed to stay with the group he was with and not be caught by the faster Chevrolets that were behind us. We still have a 1997 Ford racing against 2003 Chevrolets, Pontiacs, and Dodges. I can't wait till 2004 and get a new car.
The preceding was a paid political announcement. I want to be in that meeting where you decided on the strategy to go ahead and start all those cars in the back.
Well, we didn't. The strategy was that the crew chiefs made their decision that they wanted cars that handled down here rather than cars that had Talladega speed. So they chose good handling cars. They weren't very fast. Maybe they didn't have much power. They didn't burn a lot of gas. Here we stand.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Marty.
Bill Dillon Jr. finished 7th, arguably probably the best car tonight, but had you not had the fuel strategy situation, could you have won the race?
We would have been up there, had a chance to win it. I think Kevin Harvick had a great car. Congratulations first to Greg Biffle, man. What a great place to get your first victory. He must really be enjoying himself. I'm sure he will be tomorrow anyways. But we did all we could, but, just come up a little short. We couldn't take the chance some of them guys could in the back on fuel mileage and stuff like that. Ended up short on that, but got what we could. I swear I was driving as hard as I could, picking off as many spots at the end, just trying to get back to Matt or, do what I could for my points. And we got second back and, didn't gain on Matt. Another couple points we lost to him, but, it's all we could do, so we're pretty happy.
You said the 29 had a good car. Was he better than you were, Junior?
It's possible he was. It looked like when I was leading, he could pass a little bit more frequently than I could. I just don't know whether my car wasn't any good or I didn't have any friends out there, but my car was fine. The drivers just got to be able to suck it up and make the best of the situation, and I tried to do the best I could and wound up with another top 10, so that's good enough.
Led a lot tonight, but finished 7th. Matt?
And 7th in points coming into tonight's race, Jimmy Johnson. You battled back and forth with adversity all night.
We had a great car, and I really learned a lot about the draft. And since I have forward progress, guys will line up behind me, and because they think I'll get to the front and I'll help you. So it's nice now to have the aggressiveness on the track, but that I've always had. But now I've got people that believe in me that'll help me, and we've been able to work from we were taking 4 the whole time, the other guys were taking 2, and we were having to fight back through there again, and we could do it each time.
Now, at one point, it seemed like that there was I want to say, a battle back and forth as far as deal making between the 29 and yourself.
Yeah, we were trying to work some stuff out, and it's hard to know how patient somebody's going to be. And then when you have a big push from behind you, you've got to do something with it. And we tried to work some deals together, but it never really came together. And he hung me out once, so I hung him out once. We tried again, and we hung each other out again. So it's just plate racing.
And did you have issues with Todd Bodine as well? We saw something at the end of the race.
Yeah, I don't know if the spotter wasn't watching or what, but I went in on the outside of him into turn 1, and he drove me clean into the fence. So over there talking to him about it, and like normal, he doesn't know what he did or understand what happened. I'm over there yelling at him, and he thought it was from the lap before. So he just doesn't have a clue sometimes. It took us out of a good finish, but just part of it. We'll be back next week.
And the good news for you, we're going on to Chicago, a very special place in your racing career.
Yeah, it's a great place. One of my first Busch race there. Looking forward to going back. It's Chad's hometown track, and Los Monte Carlo is going to be quick, so we're looking forward to it.
Let's talk also about the big one. You made a great move to avoid that.
We got lucky. I saw the smoke, and I saw Kurt's car sitting sideways for a long time, and I didn't really know which way to go. Finally, I picked my lane, and I got down on the flat and was able to get by him, and was real lucky. It was a close call.
Well, Jimmy Johnson, the fireworks going off in the air. He's on to Chicago next.